Wild Roses because it was owned by a manufacturing company called CDA in Italy. And I was working for Pepper Industries at the time, and I was taking a down jacket to be fixed. And I went to CDA and we met. And after a couple of months, after we got acquainted, they asked me if I wanted to design Wild Roses. And that is how we met. Yes, Wild Roses is a brand that was originated by a lady called Dodi Kunz. She was an expeditions traveling throughout different parts of the world. And afterwards, she sold the brand to CDA, which is a company in Italy. And Wild Roses is born as an ice climbing line for women, only for women. A technical ice climbing line that afterwards had a ski line and a travel line, only thought for women. Well, I designed for many years Wild Roses, and it was my baby. Until in the year 2005, my daughter was born, and I gave her the name Nina Rose. So she does carry a little bit of Wild Roses in her. Well, I have several memorable jobs in my life, but I think with Wild Roses, the year 2007, I believe, we did a collection in a beautiful place, and the collection was inspired by Tibet. So we had a lot of interesting elements in the collection, and we launched a free ride line. Yes, I was born in California, and I think this helped me with the imagination that you grow up with in the United States. I did my education in the States and then moved to Europe, to Italy, where I studied design, and afterwards worked in Belgium in haute couture. And at that moment, I worked for a company in Hong Kong, based in New York, Gant. It was called Corn International. Afterwards, I lived in London for 3.5 years, and afterwards I moved back to Italy. I've had my own brand. I've worked for different companies around the world, but my home base was Italy, where I created an outdoor office, so fashion for outdoor. And I have my associate, which is Flavia Rusesco, and we work together from Milan for European countries. And I live now in Peru, and this choice was about 8 years ago. My background has helped me because I've worked with the languages I speak. I can work with American companies, with German company at the moment, with Italian company, and Asia, because most of my work experience was in Asia at the beginning, Hong Kong and China for American brands. And I think all these combinations of collections of different countries helps me a little bit understand our clients' needs. We all have a little bit of different tastes, and there's a different reality in each country. When I have extra time, I play tennis. Now that I'm living in Peru, I do running. But before, when I was living in Europe, I did mostly skiing as much as I could. But living in Peru doesn't give me that opportunity. I also like to paint and read. That's basically my things that I do on a spare time. Of course, I have plans for collaboration here in Korea. I think it'll be fun to have a little bit of the heritage that we can transmit from the Wild Roses history. And I think we can do a lot of great things with Wild Roses together with the team here in Korea. It's actually very exciting. I think that the core target for Wild Roses is, I think, any woman and there's really no age group. It's a professional woman who wants to be wild after her work and do activities and be out in nature. It's somebody who has a wild spirit for life. Europeans really fell in love with Wild Roses. It was actually the first brand to be next to brands that were targeted only for men. Wild Roses was the only brand for ice climbing, alpine skiing, professional garments for these activities that were from women, for women. So in most of the stores you would see Artucovich, Mammut, and Wild Roses, always at the same level. And it was seen as the novelty, the active technical collection that was feminine. So if you were doing some kind of activity, you didn't look like a man. You had femininity and comfort for a woman.